everyone, it's Justine and welcome. Today I am going to be creating an interactive card using a die from Fawn that is called a double slider card. So I've gone ahead and die cut these three pieces here, and I've cut two pieces of each one, and I'm going to be putting this together here with you for the, I believe, second time. The first time it didn't turn out for me, but then I went ahead and watched an instructional video, and then I realized how to do it, and I hope I have some tips and tricks for you along the way. So I'm going to start off with this piece here, and this is the one that kind of looks like an H or a rectangle with the little tabs sticking out. And I'm going to grab some tape here, and I'm going to be using this as my adhesive. I think it's really important to use some double-sided tape for this project because it's a lot stronger than using liquid glue. It doesn't take as long to dry, and there's less of a chance of things getting stuck. Now, I personally at the moment am using 1/4 of an inch tape. In the video description below, I'm going to link to a tape that is 1/8 of an inch. Slightly smaller than this, because I think it's going to be beneficial in the end to use a tape that is slightly smaller than this one, because I did have a little bit of issues of it catching now and again, and so I thought that 1/8 would be perfect. So I am putting this tape down on all 4 of the strips here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take 2 of the other pieces here that I did, and I am going to fold over the score lines. So they are the pieces here that have the little tabs on the side of them. There are 2 pieces, so I'm just going to fold over the score lines. Sorry for being off screen for a second there. And I'm just going to put them back and forth in order to make sure that that fold is perfectly done and easy to work with. I'm then going to take this tab die that also comes with the set, and I'm going to make sure that my folded tabs are on the left, and I'm going to push this tab up to the top, and it fits in really nicely because it fits into the stitches, and so you'll be able to place those perfectly on both sides. So you're going to cut them both the same way, and it creates set stitching around the tab as well, which is super nice. Next, I'm going to grab a piece of a package that I got from one of my stamp sets, and I am going to cut the plastic here to 2 1/4 inches, and this comes from a 4x8 stamp, so my plastic is a little bit longer. And I am going to go ahead and wrap this around a certain area of my cardstock. So I'm grabbing that piece that we put on the tape earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this 2 1/4 inch piece around the inside panel of it, and I'm going to make sure that it's a little bit loose. You don't want it super tight fitting or anything. I want to make sure it's nice and even, so I'm just using a bit of washi tape here, some purple tape, to hold it down while I put the adhesive down. And I'm going to be using that same adhesive that I've been using, this 1/4 inch tape, which I recommended using the 1/8, but for this part here it wouldn't actually matter. So I'm just putting a piece on the end of the plastic, and then I'm going to go ahead and take off the sticky part so I could reveal the adhesive, and I am going to stick the plastic over top. Now, any piece that is hanging over the adhesive edge here, you can just trim with a pair of scissors. And of course, mine is obviously a lot longer, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim that down. I'm going to remove the washi tape first, though. So now I'm going to go ahead and add adhesive. So I'm adding it to the plastic piece, and on one side I am adding it to the left of the plastic. I'm going to turn over my piece, and I'm going to add it to the right of my plastic. And this is going to be where I'm going to stick on 2 more pieces of that interactive die that I had die cut earlier in the video. So I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to remove that piece off of the adhesive, and I am going to add some of those fun little, they look almost like a gift card shape. So I'm taking the adhesive off of the left-hand side of my plastic piece here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little gift card shaped piece, and I'm going to line it up with the tabs on the right, so it is going to adhere down to the adhesive, but I'm going to line it up with the ends of those tabs where my right hand is. Then I'm going to go ahead and flip over the piece here. I'm going to remove that adhesive back here, and I'm going to line up my second piece that I cut out and I'm going to line it up with where the tabs are on the left-hand side. So the adhesive is going on the right, but you're lining it up with the left-hand side. I hope that makes sense. And when you go ahead and you pull these from side to side, you'll see that they go ahead and they open and close. And once we put it in the pocket, you see that it's kind of slipping away from each other. Once you put it in the pocket, it'll secure it from behind so it won't slip. So here is the pocket. We're going to put the pocket together. Remember, we folded those two tabs earlier, and I'm going to place them so that both tabs are facing to the right. I'm going to go ahead now and add some adhesive to the outer edge of the tab. So I'm just folding the tab in, grabbing that adhesive, and then adding it to the pocket. And because they're side by side, it's going to be really easy to just lay down that tab one on top of the other, and I'm going to be able to stick the two together. So I'm just going to push down, reinforce that adhesive, pull up the adhesive back. I'm going to stick both pieces side by side now and fold over the tab. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab that area that I was just working with here on the left, and I'm going to remove some of the adhesive on one of the sides so I can place it inside the pocket. Now, I'm going to go ahead and remove that adhesive back. I'm going to see which way they come out, because you want the area that is going to come out from the first part, so the area that's coming out on top to be the one that's coming out on top, and the one that's coming out from the bottom to be the surprise reveal. So I'm going to go ahead and place this down, and I'm going to make sure I avoid that tab over on the side, and I'm going to stick that piece down. I am then going to simply remove the other two areas that are on top now, and so I can reinforce the pocket itself. Now, this is where I was saying that the 1/8 adhesive is super important, because when I went to pull here, it was getting a little bit stuck on the areas on the side. So I had to kind of give it a little bit of a wiggle, and then it came out. So this is why, once again, I'm recommending a slightly smaller tape, because it did work. It just got a little bit stuck there for a second. So once I got that kind of unwedged here, you can see how those fold out so nicely. And as I said, using a smaller adhesive will help with that. I'm going to remove the other ends of the adhesive here, and I'm going to close the pocket of my card. So I hope that that makes sense, that whole explanation on how this works. So I'm folding down the tab, and then I'm going to go ahead. I'm just making sure I can fold it in and out as I'm going along. I don't want any mistakes along the way. I want to know exactly which step I'm making the mistake on. If I am going to make a mistake, I think it's important in case you have to do it multiple times. Now remember that it's so important to not give up on an interactive die the first time that you try it. They aren't the most cheapest things in the world, and they're doable. It just might take a couple of tries and some patience. So I'm going to remove some of the adhesive there, and then I'm going to remove the adhesive on both sides, and I'm going to close my pocket now so that I now have the double slider gift card. And as you can see, when I removed that adhesive, it took a second to pull, so I went ahead and just added a little bit of powder from my embossing bag in order to de-stick some of the areas, if that makes sense. So now, closing my pocket, it's now ready to go, and I'm ready to pretty much begin the actual card itself that this is going to stick on. So you can see how it comes in and out, and quite easily at that. So now I'm ready to make the front of my card. I'm grabbing these really pretty swirl dies from Concord and 9th, and I didn't actually detach them when I got them. So I'm just going to die cut the entire background, and it's going to create a beautiful swirly, blizzardy pattern onto my cardstock, just adding a little bit of texture to my cardstock. It also die cuts some little circles as well, so it's really fun to put it on top of colored adhesive. So now that that is finished, you're going to see some of the details here of that cardstock. It's so pretty. You'll see the die as well, that they're all these little stitched swirls. And it's just a really fun pattern, and I think this is going to become quite a staple in my Christmas card collection. So I'm going ahead now, and I'm going to add that gift card pocket, or that double slider pocket that I just created, to my card using some of the tape as well. And then I'm going to tape it right directly onto the front of my card. I am now going to be grabbing my Misty stamping tool, and I am grabbing one of the new stamp sets from Concord and 9th that is just adorable. It's called Winter Wear, and it has a lot of really fun little stamps that you can create 2 different styles of a girl with either her hair in sort of a messy bun or her hair in a braid. You can add things like toques and mitts and, oh, there's a Canadian word for you, so hats and mitts and scarves, and there's a couple of different scarves, and you can make them look like people that you know. So I'm grabbing some glasses here. I'm going to stamp them in a Fiesta blue ink. Kind of wish I had stamped them in It's a Boy, which is a little bit lighter just because I used a very light cardstock to put this on, but I think it's just really fun to be able to add a piece of personalization to your cards for the person you're making it for. So you can pick the hair color based on the ink color that you have. You can pick glasses or no glasses. It's completely up to you. And then there's 2 different scarves as well, 2 different scarf patterns, which are fun, and I stamped those in some Twilight ink. And I wasn't getting a good impression at first for some reason, so I went ahead and just took my time to get that stamped a couple of times. I die cut them using some coordinating dies also. And I went and removed all of that adhesive background here, or backing, to put this onto the front of my really fun card panel that I had cut out earlier. So now it's ready to go. You can stick a gift card in the top and the bottom if you want. If you want to have the sentiment stick out for a sentiment and the top part of gift card, you can. It's completely up to you. The choice is yours. I think 2 gift cards is a little bit much, so I'm going to add a gift card to this at a later date, and I'm going to add a sentiment to the bottom as well. So I've gone ahead and added that little scarf there, which I think is just super cute and just covers her mouth since the mouth is not stamped anyway, and it's all ready to go. So I opened up the card to reveal both of the double panels, and I'm going to go ahead and add my sentiment. So I just need to lift up the scarf a little bit here, and then I'm stamping the sending warm and cozy. And I should have done this with my Misty because obviously the cardstock is a little bit in the way, so I got a little bit of a line, but it's no big deal. I went ahead and stamped again over top, and then I got a better impression. And on the top, as I said, I'm going to insert a gift card at a later date. So I'm going to slide those back into each other, and then you'll see the front of my card. So I'm going ahead now and just adding some Tombow Mono Liquid Adhesive very carefully along the edge of my die cut panel. I'm going to add this to a piece of very light blue cardstock. I think it's important to add some cardstock colored to the back just because of the little dots that are showing through, and something to match the glasses I think really fit as well. And once again, because interactive cards are just super fun, I just wanted to show you how this is going to work. Now, of course, you could add tassels to the top, a pull tab, it's completely up to you. Or you can, there's even a die which you can put a hole in the top so you can attach string and twine and all that sort of thing. So if you're interested in the supplies listed they're listed below in the video description, and check out that pop-up die, it's super fun, or that slider die. And I also have some suggested videos here, and you can hit that subscribe button if you feel like subscribing to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in a few days for another video. Bye!